already day 20 of our metaphysical journey through our corona confinement. But just because we're confined by space doesn't mean we're confined from doing, being, and becoming the best we can. And I hope I can help you do that. Well, anybody that watches me, you know the first question I always ask. What are you wearing? I want to show you what I'm wearing today. I know you see this backward. When I post this on YouTube, you'll see it forward. But it says, assuming I'm just an old lady, it was your first mistake. So anybody that assumes I'm just an old lady that's their first mistake. And I got a dragon, of course my happy color. And why do I want to share that with you? You know, you may feel a little disempowered right now. And I would like to invite you to let that go, because you are still a powerful person. You've got power, if nothing else, to control your thoughts, your feelings, and that will make all the difference on the other side of where we are today. Now, I'm kind of trying to gauge as I do my message today. My little visit with you, I'm going to try to get a feeling for where you are, and I may be scrambling your brain when we're done, so just brace yourself in case that happens. When I talked about the power we have, I drew a picture, so there's nothing to interpret. It is a rope, okay? And at the bottom of the rope is what I call a hand. And up at the top is another what I call a hand. And this is what I call the spiritual gravitational pull, okay? Our circumstances in life can pull us down through our power of the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and what we believe can pull us up. Now, if you had a string, okay, and which would be easier to pull, down or up? Well, the answer, of course, is down because of the gravitational pull. But what we want to do is pull ourselves upward. There was a saying that said, one pessimist can pull down 5 optimists faster than, or easier than, 5 optimists can pull up 1 pessimist. This is all a matter of attitude, and we're going to our spiritual gym as we keep pulling ourselves up. If we look at the pessimistic part, it's going to be a lot harder to pull ourselves up into the optimistic part, right? So every day you want to look for something that will lift you up. Sometimes we are in a place where we just can't do that for ourselves. And that's one of those times when we need a friend or a family member to help us get up. So think about that. And I would like to ask you today, how are you doing? How are you doing? Are you alone, or are you with people? Are you working well with the people, or are they making you crazy? Is it making you crazy to be alone? Are you have sadness because nobody's calling you? All right, so think on these things. First of all, as far as calling goes, there are callers and there are callees. Some people will pick up that phone and call. Other people never even think about it. They wait for somebody to call them. Are you a caller or a callee? Think on that. I am a caller. If I think about somebody, if I miss them, if I want to talk to them, if I'm lonely, I will call. My sister is a callee. Being I'm a caller and she's a callee, I could not, just because she doesn't call me doesn't mean she doesn't think about me, she doesn't love me. It's just the way she is. People are the way they are. And especially in these times when it's really important for us to work together, it is very, very critical that we don't assume about somebody else. We don't assume the way they're thinking. We don't assume the way they're feeling, because our goal is to be woven back together. Even if we are doors apart, or if we are blocks apart, or if we are half a world apart, okay? We can still come together through phone, through video, through whatever. So when I say, how are you doing? How are your emotions? Are you finding yourself slipping down into the lower fears, grief, anxiety, or are you coming up higher? Are you working on filling your time with something more positive to help you come up? You know, Charles Fillmore said that our thoughts are like people. He even called our thoughts thought people. And some of those are positive and some of those are negative. So if you need someone to talk to, you got to get good thoughts going, good thought people to help pull you above so you're not going to be down there. Now, you maybe you've never heard of it, but there is a thing called it's the Keirsey, Keirsey, personality sorter. And it's an amazing thing. They use it for counseling tools, but boy, can it help to understand those people you live with or the people you don't live with but you wish you heard from. We kind of talked about it a little bit. The first thing is there are introverts and there are extroverts. I'm an extrovert. Did anybody ever get that? Yes, I'm an extrovert. However, sometimes I want to retreat. I'm an empath, so even though I'm an extrovert, I can only take so much and then I need to come away to my own space. So if you're an introvert and you're with a bunch of people, you're unhappy, they're getting on your nerves. If you're an extrovert and you're around a bunch of people, that's fine unless they're introverts and then you're stressed out. It helps so much to understand. So you can go online and you can look up the Keirsey Temperament Sorter and you can find out your numbers, your personality traits. It's personality traits. You can find them out by filling out a little paper. Everyone in the family can do it, and that way you know where everyone in the family is coming from. So my sister's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. So I have to give her space and call her if I need to, knowing that she is an introvert and won't be probably reaching out unless there's a need. The other ones are thinking, sensing, judging, perceiving. They're different parts of our personality. So I really encourage you, go to Keirsey.com and do the Personality Center. Two of them are judging and perceiving. And that was kind of, judging sounds really bad, but it's not really bad because judging, I'm one of those, okay? Judging means I look at things and I figure them out. Perceiving is a person that is out in the universe, very perceptive. They're perceiving, and I'm like, well, this is the way it is. Is one right and the other wrong? No. But if you want to come out of this the best that you can, I strongly suggest pay attention, do that Keirsey Temperament Sorter, figure out who in your household, who in your life is this or that, not you figure it out, not those judging people, I know, but just do the test, And then maybe you even would have something to talk about, you know, around the dinner table or over Skype or whatever that is. So it's a great activity, family activity. You answer a bunch of questions, and it gives you insight to your own personality. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, so you may look at it and go, that ain't me. Maybe, maybe not. But consider the possibility. You can. Just consider the possibility. So I would like to ask you to ask yourself, how are you handling any challenges that are coming up? You know, some people, when they have big challenges, just want to sleep. Well, that's my buddy Ellen. When she has a challenge, she just wants to go to bed, pull the covers over her head, and make it go away. I, on the other hand, I'm Crusader Rabbit. I'm going to go out there and see what I can fix. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We cannot judge someone for being one way or another. Okay, now this one is really going to stretch you. Two things. Mother Teresa, who is now, I guess, Saint Mother Teresa, I believe she was canonized, said when she would, they asked her, how do you deal with those people who are dirty? She worked with the what they call the untouchables in India. Some people would actually be lying by a gutter, just dying, and she would go and she would comfort them and love them. And she looked up and she smiled and she said, "That's just Jesus in one of his disguises." Is there someone in your life who tap dances on your last nerve? Perhaps you have religious differences. Perhaps they don't like your mate. Perhaps the political differences. We got plenty of those to deal with. What if that person that is tap dancing on your last nerve was Jesus in one of his disguises? If you're not Christian, what if it was Buddha in one of his disguises, Muhammad in one of his disguises? What if this person that we're judging by appearances had really come for our good, to help us show compassion and love, to help us be the wonderful, beautiful, powerful spiritual beings we were meant to be, okay? All right, now we're going to take it a step farther. Take a big breath. You're not going to like this one. What if that person came to your life to teach you something? What if it was your teacher? So look at that person in your mind's eye or across the room if that's where they happen to be, and think to yourself, what are they teaching me? What did God send them here to teach me? That's really, really scary. I had a friend one day who I wanted to do physical harm to. Not really, but I was really put out when she said it. I was in seminary at the time, and my house was not selling. I was running low on money, and I had another year of school to go through. And so one day, we were on break, and I was talking, and I said, "Oh, I just, that house won't sell. I want to get this out of me. I'm so worried about it." And she looked at me and she said, "What's in it for you to not have that house sell? What's in it for you to even talk about it?" Oh, I was so mad. And Because in unity, we're very positive thinking. We don't talk negative. We don't talk fear. But I had to ask myself, what was in it for me to be talking about it and to be holding that thought? Because we do teach in unity, the thoughts we consistently hold in our minds manifest in our lives. So I had to think about it. And what I realized is, I think that by speaking about it, I thought somebody'd rescue me. That somebody would know somebody that wanted to buy a house. That somebody would say, here's some money to help pay your rent because you're nervous about it. That wasn't an issue, and I didn't want that. But what I did, I wanted a solution from outside. I did not trust God enough. I did not trust the universe enough to provide what I needed. And so I had to start working on that and letting that go. Because the thought that we consistently hold will manifest one way. Believe me when I tell you, one day the thoughts you're holding in your mind will manifest. As it worked out, I did sell my house. I sold it right after ordination. And right after I spent the last $400 in my account. Interesting, huh? You know, like they say, it may not come when you want it, but it'll be there right on time. And it was there right on time. It is so important. So my friend Joy, who put me in my place that day with truth, gave me a lesson. That was like 30 some years ago. And let me tell you something, I will never forget that lesson. So we cannot afford the price of a negative thought. We can't just judge. Jesus said, judge not, but if you have to, use righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is judging with information, discerning, and judging with information. We have to discern every day. To judge without knowing the information is prejudging. And if you put prejudging together, what do you have? Prejudice. Ooh, that didn't feel so good. So, let's go back to who's tap dancing on your last nerve. Can you see them different? If you look and think, this person is here tap dancing on my last nerve, and the reason that they're allowed to tap dance on my last nerve is because I set it up. Because they're here for my highest good. So, what an opportunity. Now, the next part of that, whether you're home alone or whether you're with a bunch of people, we have plenty of time now for introspection. I believe it was Einstein that said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Are you afraid to look at yourself? Are you afraid that you won't like what you see? Are you afraid if somebody else looked at you, they would see something less than what you want them to see? If you got a paper and pencil, write this one down. What other people think of me is none of my business. What other people think of me is none of my business. What is your business? The way you think of yourself, and the way that God is not a person, that's not the way we see it, but spirit. How does the spiritual energy Am I in harmony with that? That's what you got to do. Be in harmony with what you believe to be the best that you can be. Now, another part of this experience that we're in is patience. I am not good with that. I think I've said it almost every other video I've done. Patience is a virtue, but when God was handing it out, I couldn't stand around and wait for it. So I have had to really, really learn that. And oddly, I was watching Joyce Meyer today, and she said, patience is not the ability to wait, but how you wait, how you behave, how you act while you're waiting. So if you've got to wait for something, if you got to wait to get out of your little four walls, how are you waiting? Are you taking those lemons and making some lemon squares? I'm not going to say lemonade. Lemonade's good, but lemon squares. Lemon meringue pie. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to have to do that. I think I'm going to maybe have to make a lemon meringue pie because I got the lemons. I couldn't buy 2 lemons when I was on Peapod. You get what you get, and I got a big old bag of lemons. So I think somebody's going to make a lemon meringue pie. But I'm not going to eat it all myself. I will send it across the street. With my sister and I pass things over by means of her desk. So if I've got something I need to send her, I put it on her desk, and when she gets here, she picks it up. If she has something she wants to give me, she leaves it on my desk, and I pick it up. How sad that I can't even hug my sister and thank her for what, for what she wants to give me, or give me hugs for what I gave her. But right now, our hugs are not hugging. Our hugs are keeping our distance. It's something that we have. Joyce Meyer also said this morning that the spiritual fruit, the fruit of the Spirit that is patience, only grows under trial. Like if you ask God for patience, you know what you're going to get? 100 reasons why you need to be patient. 100 things to be patient about. Kind of reminds me of what my mother used to say. Not about patience. She would say, we'd be blubbering, feeling victimized. And she's a wonderful mother, so don't get me wrong, this is it. So we would be blubbering and miserable, and she'd say, you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. Love my mom. But don't we sometimes act like that? We're whining about being stuck in our house when Anne Frank and her family hid upstairs with a shop downstairs that Gestapo would come in and out of. They couldn't flush the toilet all during the day. They couldn't move. They couldn't make a sound. Yet Anne Frank developed, she was just a teenage girl, and she developed spiritually. And she would look out her window and look up at the sky, and she said, for all the evil that's going on, I do believe that people are basically good. Can we hold that thought? Can we say that for all the junk that's going on in the world, life is basically good? Because it really is. I'm going to be letting you go in just a minute. I'm trying to keep my things shorter so I'm not overpowering you, too many things to think of. Lord knows I could go for years, but I'm trying to kind of respect your time. So I want to just invite you to do one last thing today. I want you to make yourself a schedule and a reward system. Now, when I'm talking about a reward system, I'm talking about a good, positive reward for something that you have done. It's real important right now to develop and stick to a basic routine. What are you wearing? Are you out of the pajamas yet? What did you do today? Did you get some exercise? Did you go out in the fresh air? Did you try to do a goal? Oh, I want to give you a tip for house cleaning. Are you getting cluttered? I'm getting a little cluttered. But if you want to clean your house, this is the way you do it. Start in one room. Doesn't matter what room. Start in one corner. Clean that corner. I mean clean it. I mean dust it, wipe it down, put a little furniture polish, whatever you need to do. And then take a step back. And then clean that part. And then take a steep step back. You want to have your back to the part that isn't done. So you've got your front to the part that is done. And you'll feel good about it. When you turn around and you say, oh crud, I got that much to do, turn back around and see the good that you've done. You know what? You can do that with your life in general. If you feel like you're not making any progress, for me, I know I'm not where I want to be, but at least I'm not where I used to be. So on that note, I'm going to thank you for being with me today. I can make out some names that are coming up, and that is so precious to me, and I love y'all, and I love anybody who stops by to see me. And so you be good. Have a good day. Stay positive. Look up that Kiersey temperament sorter. And don't forget to journal. Remember, if you're journaling, you're writing history. You are writing history. There has never been a time like this before. God bless you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.